In this video we're going to look at complex sentences. Now complex sentences are another type of non-simple sentences, so they have more than one subject and VP, but they look a bit different to compound sentences. Here's an example. Here you see, Mary said John was happy. Now if you think about what the whole sentence means, it's really about someone saying something, and in this case it's Mary saying something, and what she says, if you think of something as a box, you can open it, and then what it is that she actually said is John was happy. So we've got there a clause inside the VP that tells you that Mary said something. Okay, so what we see then is that the clause, the clause in the square brackets is what Mary said, and we call that a subordinate clause or an embedded clause because it's really embedded in the sentence. Yes, this kind of box within the larger sentence. Now, the overall sentence is what we call the main clause, and that's the main clause because it is the top S node in the tree. So if we look at the tree for this sentence, it looks like this. So you've got the S at the top, and if you follow all the lines down, then you see that the S stands for the whole sentence. Mary said John was happy. And then inside the verb phrase there's another S, and that's that subordinate clause, John was happy. So the overall structure of the main clause is this. So NP, VP. So Mary said by itself does not form a constituent, because the whole Mary is the subject, and you then have a VP, and that said something. And in fact, of course, we know that what she said said John was happy. So I hope you get a view of the structure here, that Mary said is not a constituent, so it can't be a clause in the sentence. So the structure is this. NP, VP, that makes up the sentence. And inside the VP we've got another clause, John was happy. Okay, well, let's have a look at some more sentences. Here we've got a sentence, and how many clauses are here? That she is here shows that she cares. Now, if we try and think about using something, then we could say something like, that she is here shows something. Okay, and what that something stands for is that she cares, and inside there you've got she cares, and of course that's a clause, with a subject she and a VP cares. Now we can also say that something shows that she cares. Okay, what's that something? That she is here. Now inside that she is here you've got she is here, who is here? She. So we've got a noun phrase, subject, she, and of course a VP is here. So we've got two subordinate clauses here. But of course overall the sentence says that something shows something. So we can say that there are two subordinate clauses, that she is here and that she cares. And the main clause is of course the top S node, and that stands for that she is here shows that she cares. So that whole sentence is the main clause. Look at this one then. John didn't like the cake, but he ate it anyway. Now, is that a simple sentence, a compound sentence, a complex sentence with one subordinate clause, or a complex sentence with two subordinate clauses? Well, you can say John didn't like the cake, and you can have that as a sentence standing all by itself. You can also say he ate it anyway, and again that's a small sentence by itself. Then we've got that word but in the middle, and that's a conjunction, and because of that you can say you've got two main clauses with a conjunction. You've got a compound sentence. This one, Mary went to the house in the wood by the lake for an hour. Now, It's a very long sentence, but when you look, you see there's only one verb. That means that there's only going to be one VP, yeah, and and then you can say, well, who went to the house in the wood by the lake for an hour? And the answer is Mary, so that's the subject. So although it's a very long sentence, it is just a simple sentence. How about this one? She said she knew that it was impossible. Okay, now remember, just as we do with simple sentences, when you try and figure out the structure, start at the end and have a look. And then you can say, she said she knew something, and something stands for that it was impossible. So there we've got one subordinate clause. It was impossible, something was impossible. Yeah, what was impossible? It, whatever that is. So we've got a small clause there. So that's our first subordinate clause. But we also have said. Yeah, so we've got she knew something, but then there's also the she said. And of course when you say something. What did she say? She knew that it was impossible. So she knew that it was impossible is another subordinate clause. Yeah? So the answer is here that we've got a complex sentence with two subordinate clauses. And as you can see, one subordinate clause is inside the other. Yeah, so if I could do it in terms of boxes, you would say, right, it's like 3 boxes. Yeah, and the whole sentence. Then you have she said something, you can open that something, and inside there is she knew that it was impossible. She knew something, and inside there is that it was impossible.